but when someone in their own circle actually steals my mods, admits it, and doesn't intentionally revoke a reaction, nobody cares. The double standard speaks for itself. And the reason people didn't care for 3 years, as he puts it, is simple. At the time, they just assumed that music YukiPlays Music Pack was something he created, not copyrighted work from YukiPlays.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
That was the only mod I reported. Aquoso standalone pack, crew standalone pack weapons, any other non-PvP mods, I didn't report. Because why would I? They don't affect PvP. This is a direct encouragement of report brigading, which is against Nexus mods rules. Then, at 10:24, Eluwave said,
"Tactical nuke! Incoming!"
I don't really care myself. And this is online flame wood. And it's the weak blocker, which again, it's not public anymore, it's gone. I would have not known how to make it if Aquoso hadn't shown me the method. Of course, I'm not blaming him for anything. He explained to me how it worked, so it basically was in my responsibility of how I used this knowledge. While he did say he didn't want to be credited, at the time he apparently admitted that he never liked me and merely pretended to, I guess. Now, we're gonna go on ahead and record the stealing mods part. No, I didn't steal mods from YukiPlays. Well, yes, YukiPlays did create this mod here. I was able to learn how he was doing it. Let me explain that first. YukiPlays version, he manually capped it at 2,000. That's about it. Mine is basically capped at 9,999,999,999. Has 3 different killer boxes being released every week. Now, of course, you can point out and say, oh, these mods do the same thing, Scoob. But this isn't the... Now, of course, regarding the Sophie Hunter-Lear card, called, I don't know if I got that right, version, the original file was created by Wither255. So here's the part that Eluwave videos completely leaves out. Wither255, and I talked about this privately once he left a comment on the mod, and we resolved it. Eluwave only showed the selected snippets. Here's what Wither255 said, actually, afterwards. One, he said here at 8:20, 2025, 8:27 a.m. I don't really care, credit me at the very least, despite not asking, at the point. And then again, at 8:20, 2025, 9:26 a.m. he says, like I said, I don't mind. Then at 2:14, 2026, 1:47 p.m., 5 months later, he then says this. January 1st, 2026, I uploaded this mod called Avatar Standalone Pack. At the time, I made a mistake because I thought I had permission to use Eluwave's Advanced Character Customization 2, but it turns out I was misremembering. After that, I reached out to Eluwave and others, being Kuro, Aquoso, and Trio01, to ask if I had permission for the assets I used, and if so, which mod that permission applied to. One thing I want to point out is that Eluwave never asked why I used his assets. course, now we're going to compare to these two mods side by side to show that no, I didn't steal anything from the Advanced Character Customization 2 because that asset exists in the vanilla game pack files. The first thing you'll notice is that in my Avatar standalone pack, the skin turns red. And of course, mind you, this is an old version of the mod. In the Eluwave mod, well, that doesn't happen. The same thing you may notice right away is the coloring options. iMod and Eluwave's mods do not share the same color sets. At the very bottom, you'll notice that both are still different in the current updates. At the time, the description of some of my older mods were not compliant with Nexus mod's term of service, being like, this mod should not be used in this mode, if you have used it in this mode, please remove the file, and etc, etc. So those were removed. The important part of this is, YukiPlays admits that he was actually reporting my mods. Later he even says, I reported some of them, it looks like they finally got taken down. Now, after that, one of YukiPlays' own mods had to be edited by a moderator for harassment, something that Eluwave's video does not mention. Right after that, another Discord user joined in and reported my mod as well. In Eluwave's video, he claims mods started being reported. And at the time, we had no idea who was behind it. But even that's not true. What the video completely hides is Aquoso, YukiPlays, and Kuro actually reporting my mods, which triggered Nexus mod's staff to perform sweep later on. Invisible walls. And here's the important part. Eluwave knows how to make it to where NPCs cannot follow bounds. He knows how to make it to where players can bypass invisible walls. Therefore, he would have to know he can choose which map it should affect. He just doesn't, he simply never fixed it. Because of that's why it got removed on Nexus mods again. And it also doesn't help that he literally left a footnote from the second remove invisible walls in PvP map directly to the remove invisible walls mods. That was the only mod I reported. Eluwave blames me for reporting his additional emotes mods. And honestly, I forgot this mod even existed until I watched the video. All it takes is one player using the emotes in a combat zone to trigger the gunslinger animation. Exactly like Aquoso said, there's no digging in the files, no secret knowledge, no inside-out understanding of every mod. It's just a choice Eluwave left me using a vanilla action idea, something anyone could trigger by accident. And I even went further and blocked out the PvP receptionist entirely so players couldn't enter with the mod active. I took responsibility for unpacking my mods, something Eluwave never did. And besides, Hero PvP isn't even dead, as the Chinese region still plays Hero PvP time to time. So the idea that Hero PvP is dead is just another excuse people use to justify for not caring about the impact of their mods. The mod isn't dead, it's only dead in the communities that stop respecting it. And honestly, Eluwave, it's ironic how you accuse of me playing the victim and act like nothing happened, yet your own video says exactly that. The problem was never me. You allowed YukiPlays to escalate the situation. You didn't even step in when people began mass reporting. And that behavior is what multiple creators lost their mods for. Had you, Eluwave, stepped in, stopped the coordinating reporting, most of what happened wouldn't even occur. And if all of you had focused on fixing your own issues of which violated Nexus mod's terms of service, instead of trying to take me down by listening to a 3-year-old grudge, and then, Eluwave, you claim I'm using bots for once. Really? By the way, you called my situation with my Hero PvP mods idiot. The people in the server were sending messages and gifts that clearly crossed the line of basic respect. The statement of using a gift of someone that they shouldn't exist or encourage others to bomb their house because someone's work Because of someone's work are not jokes, and not even opinions. They're harassment, and they have no place in any modern